English learners. Welcome back to Jay and May English Podcast, the podcast that helps you speak English with confidence, one real conversation at a time. I'm May.
And I'm Mr. J. Whether you're listening from a coffee shop, your bedroom, or maybe even your car right now, we are so happy you're here with us today.
Mr. J, can I be honest with you right now?
Always. What's up?
I was thinking about today's topic this morning, and I literally got a little nervous. Like my heart went boom, boom, boom.
Why? What's the topic doing to you?
Because we're talking about first dates today, and oh my goodness, first dates are so scary.
They really are. You know, it doesn't matter if you're shy or super confident. That first date moment, everybody feels something.
Right, like you don't even know what to say. You just sit there and think, okay, do I talk about the weather? Do I ask about their job? Do I just smile and hope for the best?
The smile and hope strategy. Classic.
It never works, Mr. J. It never works.
No, it doesn't. And that's exactly why today's episode is so important. We're going to talk about first dates, specifically how to start a conversation on a first date.
Yes, and not just any conversation, a real one, a natural one that doesn't feel like a job interview.
Exactly. Because here's the truth. Most people don't fail on first dates because they're boring. They fail because they don't know how to open the conversation the right way.
Ooh, that's deep, Mr. J.
And if you listen until the end of this episode, I promise you're going to walk away with real phrases, real strategies, and real confidence for your next first date conversation.
Whether it's in English or any language, honestly.
Totally. This is about human connection. English just makes it even more powerful.
And hey, if you're new here and you want to improve your English step by step every single day, hit that subscribe button right now. We drop a new episode every day, and you don't want to miss a single one.
All right, let's get into it. May, let me ask you something first. When you imagine a first date, what's the very first thing that happens?
Oh, wow. Okay, so you arrive, you see the person, you wave, maybe hug, and then you sit down. And then there's this moment of silence where nobody says anything.
Yes, that moment. That 3-second silence that feels like 3 hours.
It feels like forever.
That moment right there, that's where most people panic. And when we panic, we either say something random or we say nothing at all.
And both are bad, right?
Both are bad. So the first thing I always tell people is don't wait for a perfect thing to say. Just start with something real.
You mean like something that's actually happening around you?
Exactly. It's called an observation. You look around, you notice something, and you say it out loud.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so imagine you're at a cafe. You just sat down. Instead of just smiling and waiting, you look at the place and say, I love this place. Have you been here before?
Oh, that's so simple.
It's so simple, but it works, because now the other person has something to answer. They're either going to say yes or no, and both answers lead to a conversation.
Right. If they say yes, they can share their experience. If they say no, you can explore it together.
See? You just started a conversation without even trying.
Okay, wait, but what if the place is not that special? What if it's just a normal restaurant?
Great question. Then you shift to something about the moment. Like, I almost got lost finding this place. Have you ever been to a restaurant where the GPS just gave up on you?
No, I hate that. But yes, that's a great icebreaker.
And here's why it works. You're being a little funny, a little relatable, and you're inviting them to share a similar experience. That's the magic formula.
Funny, relatable, and invite them to share. I like that.
Write that down, everyone. Funny, relatable, invite them to share.
Okay, Mr. J, but here's my next question. What if the person is really quiet, like they give short answers and you feel like you're doing all the talking?
Oh, this is where things get interesting. Because when someone gives short answers, a lot of people think, oh, they don't like me, they're bored.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would think.
But most of the time, they're just nervous too. They don't know what to say either. So what you do is you ask what I call story questions.
Story questions? What does that mean?
A story question is not just a yes or no question. It's a question that makes the other person tell you something about their life.
Oh, like instead of do you like traveling, you say,
What's the most memorable place you've ever been to?
oh wow, that's totally different.
See, now they have to think. Now they have to share a real memory. And when people share memories, they start to relax.
Because you're not interrogating them, you're actually curious about their story.
Exactly. And that curiosity, that genuine interest, is the most attractive thing on a first date. More than looks, more than money, more than anything.
Okay, I totally believe that. People can feel when you're actually listening to them.
100%. And here's a little tip that most people never think about: the follow-up.
The follow-up?
So they answer your story question. They say, oh, the most memorable place I've been to was Japan. I went 3 years ago. Most people say, oh, cool, and move on to the next question.
Yeah, that's what I'd probably do.
Don't do that. Instead, follow up. Say, wait, what was the best thing you ate there?
Oh my goodness, now you're going deep into the story.
Now you're inside their memory with them. That's connection. That's what makes someone feel like, wow, this person actually listens to me.
That is so powerful, and it's so simple.
The best things always are.
Okay, wait. I want to ask about something that I personally find really hard. What about compliments? Like, on a first date, do you give compliments? How do you do it without being weird?
The compliment question, yes. Okay, compliments are great, but there's a right way and a wrong way.
What's the wrong way?
The wrong way is complimenting appearance too early or too intensely, like sitting down and immediately saying, you are so beautiful, I can't stop looking at you.
Okay, yeah, that's too much.
It puts pressure on the other person. They don't know how to respond. They feel uncomfortable.
So what's the right way?
Compliment something specific and real, like, I love your style, by the way. That color looks really great on you. Simple, light, specific.
Because it shows you actually noticed something about them.
Right. Or even better, compliment something they said or did, like, that story about Japan is amazing. You have a great way of telling stories.
Oh, that's a compliment about their personality, not just how they look.
And personality compliments hit differently. They feel more real, more genuine.
Okay, this is making so much sense. Mr. J, I feel like the whole goal of a first date conversation is just make the other person feel comfortable and interesting.
You just said it better than I could. That's exactly it. Make them feel comfortable. Make them feel interesting. Not impressive, not perfect, just present and real.
And if you do that, the conversation just flows naturally?
It flows naturally. And here's the interesting part. When the other person feels interesting, they automatically think you're interesting too, even if you barely talked about yourself.
Wait, really?
Really? Because you gave them the gift of being heard. And that's rare.
That honestly just changed my whole perspective on conversations.
Good. Now, let's talk about one more thing: topics. Because sometimes people run out of things to say.
Yes, the awkward silence after you've talked about travel and food and work, and then suddenly nothing.
So here's what I call the Ford method. It's a classic one, but it works so well.
Ford? Like the car?
Like the car, but it stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams.
Okay, so those are 4 topic areas you can always go back to?
Exactly. When the conversation gets quiet, just pick one. So, are you close with your family? That's family. What do you actually enjoy about your job? That's occupation.
What do you do for fun on weekends? That's recreation.
Perfect. And what's something you really want to do or achieve in the next few years? That's dreams.
I love the dreams one because it's not too heavy, but it shows you're thinking about your future.
And it opens up a really meaningful conversation. You learn about someone's values, their goals, what they care about.
Okay, Mr. J, one last thing I want to ask about. What about humor? Should you try to be funny on a first date?
Yes, but don't try too hard. Forced humor is worse than no humor at all.
Like when someone tells a joke and you can feel how hard they're trying?
Exactly. The best humor on a first date is natural and self-aware, like laughing at something that genuinely happens or making a small joke about yourself.
Self-aware humor? You mean like making fun of yourself a little?
Just a little, like, I almost wore the wrong shoes today and I'm still recovering from that decision.
That's so relatable, and it makes you human.
That's the goal. You don't want to look perfect. Perfect is scary. Relatable is warm.
Relatable is warm. I love that.
And when you laugh together, even at something small, it creates a bond. It says, we're on the same team here.
And that's what you want on a first date. You want to feel like you're on the same team, not competing with each other.
Beautifully said, May.
Okay, let's go to our vocabulary moment because we used some amazing phrases in this episode.
Let's do it.
Okay, the first phrase is icebreaker. Mr. J, what does that mean exactly?
An icebreaker is something you say or do to start a conversation and make people feel relaxed. Imagine ice, cold and stiff, and you break it to make things warm and easy.
Example sentence?
I asked about the music playing in the restaurant. It was a great icebreaker.
Perfect. The next phrase, story question. We talked about this one.
A story question is an open question that invites someone to share a real memory or experience. Not yes or no, but something that asks them to think and talk.
Example, what's the most interesting job you've ever had? Love it. Okay, next one, follow-up.
A follow-up is when you respond to what someone said by asking more about it. You go deeper into their answer instead of moving on.
Like, they say they love hiking, and you say, what's the hardest trail you've ever done? That's a follow-up.
Exactly right.
Next phrase, self-aware humor. This one is interesting.
Self-aware humor means you laugh at yourself a little. You know your own small flaws or funny moments, and you share them lightly. It makes you seem real and easy to be around.
Example, I ordered the same coffee twice because I forgot what I ordered. Classic me.
Perfect example.
And the last phrase, personality compliment. We talked about this too.
A personality compliment is when you appreciate something about who someone is, their energy, their humor, their way of thinking, not just how they look.
Example, you have such a warm way of talking. I really enjoy listening to you.
And that kind of compliment, people remember it for a long time.
Okay, recap time. Mr. J, I'm going to summarize what I learned today. Jump in anytime.
I'm ready.
Okay, so first, when a first date starts and there's that awkward silence, don't panic. Just make an observation about what's around you and turn it into a question.
Exactly. Keep it simple and real.
Then, if someone is giving short answers, use story questions, questions that make them share a real experience or memory.
Right. Get them into their own story.
And when they answer, don't just say cool and move on. Do a follow-up question. Go deeper into what they said.
That's where the real connection happens.
For compliments, keep it specific and real. And personality compliments are even better than appearance compliments.
Good point. They feel more genuine.
If the conversation slows down, use the Ford method. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. 4 topic areas that always have something to talk about.
Never run out of things to say again.
And for humor, don't force it. Just be relatable. Laugh at yourself a little. Make them feel like you're on the same team.
Relatable is always better than perfect.
And I think the biggest lesson today is the goal of a first date conversation is not to impress. It's to make the other person feel comfortable and interesting.
That is the whole thing. You said it perfectly. And I'll just add one final tip. Listen more than you talk. The person who listens well is always the most memorable person in the room.
Listen more than you talk. Write that one down, everyone.
First dates are not performances. They're conversations. Just two people trying to see if they connect. So breathe, be curious, be real, and the words will come.
And practice your English while you're at it.
Always. That's what we're here for.
Okay, before we go, we want to ask you something. Think about this question and leave us a comment. What is the hardest part of starting a conversation for you? Is it the silence? Is it finding topics? Or is it the compliments?
Tell us. We genuinely read your comments, and we love hearing from you.
And if today's episode helped you even a little bit, share it with one friend who needs some first date confidence. You could be the reason they have an amazing conversation very soon.
That's a beautiful thing to do. All right, English learners, we'll be back tomorrow with another episode, another topic, and another step forward in your English journey.
Until then, stay curious, stay confident, and keep talking.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.